Meghan's an actress and Kate is a princess. And I think it was really well illustrated in this little get together with the First Lady and all the children. Catherine is a princess and she behaves like a princess, although she wasn't born a princess any more than Meghan was. But Catherine has a kind of giving character. And of course, she's so relaxed around children and so brilliant with children. So she sat on the grass and did some sketching with them. And Melania sat in a little chair. And the whole thing might have been contrived, but it really didn't look contrived at all. It looked incredibly natural. And they talked about, Melania talked about her favorite insect and she said it was a ladybug. And luckily the children realized that meant a ladybird. It was very charming. It just showed both amazing women in a very light-hearted and informal situation, and it really worked. Catherine and Melania were a great double act. I think Melania is a very intelligent woman, speaks 5 languages. Kate is very personable and is absolutely fantastic with children. And I think it was interesting to see that Melania is also rather good with children. One of the little scouts, who they're between about 4 and 5, she actually decided to sit on Melania's lap, which was really charming. And I think what it did actually was give us idea of what Melania really looks like, because we usually see her hidden by a hat and you don't see her eyes and you don't see her laughing. And it was just the 2 women together was a really good mixture in a way that I guess we have never seen Meghan like that with any other woman. She always seems to be look at me, look at Meghan, rather than as in Catherine's case, it's don't look at me, look at Melania. She's my guest.
When Melania Trump stood tall beside her husband during the state visit, one thing was crystal clear: elegance doesn't need to shout. It simply radiates. And that's exactly what royal expert Ingrid Seward says about Princess Kate. While Meghan Markle continues to court headlines and controversy, Kate has mastered the quiet power that defines a true royal. Kate Middleton doesn't just represent the monarchy, she embodies it. Every smile, every gesture, every subtle expression shows composure and confidence. Meghan, on the other hand, has confused being royal with being relevant. And that difference is everything. Ingrid Seward has covered the royal family for decades. She's seen Diana's warmth, Camilla's endurance, and now, Kate's evolution into the face of modern monarchy. She says, Kate understands that presence isn't about stealing the spotlight, it's about honoring it. Kate's grace under pressure is unmatched. When she steps into a room, she doesn't need fanfare. She's calm, grounded, professional, and that's precisely why the public adores her. She's never chasing attention, but she always commands it. Compare that to Meghan, whose every move feels scripted for optics. While Kate connects, Meghan performs. And in royalty, that distinction defines legacy. Meghan Markle entered the royal family with incredible potential: beauty, intelligence, confidence. But according to Seward, she misread the room. Meghan thought she was joining a brand when in fact she was joining an institution. Instead of adjusting, she tried to compete. From tell-all interviews to Netflix documentaries, Meghan turned every chapter into a production. The focus shifted from service to self-promotion, and the palace doesn't forget that.
So it was a very different feeling. Meghan is the one that always wants the focus on her rather than anyone else. And Catherine shares the limelight. And in fact, she's a giver. She actually gave the limelight to Melania because Melania is the First Lady and she was entertaining her and she was a guest. So Catherine sort of stood down and just concentrated on the children, while Melania was able to, show us what she's really like.
Royal insiders whisper that Meghan's biggest struggle wasn't racism or rejection. It was restraint. Royals live by silence. Meghan lives by sound bites. And now, years later, the contrast between Kate and Meghan has become a symbol of 2 very different philosophies. One serves the crown, the other serves the camera. When Melania Trump attended that state visit, her poise didn't go unnoticed. Dressed elegantly, speaking little, standing tall, she let dignity do the talking. Ingrid Seward pointed out how Melania, despite being a former model, understood that elegance comes from restraint, not attention. Kate and Melania share that same quiet understanding of presence. Neither competes. Neither craves validation. They simply are. Meghan, on the other hand, has built an entire persona on being heard. But true power often lies in being still. Behind the palace doors, courtiers reportedly describe Kate as unflappable. She's known for never losing her cool. Not during royal protocol errors, not under the scrutiny of the press, and not even when Meghan's interviews threw shade at the family. Ingrid Seward says that while Meghan has complained about hierarchy, Kate has embraced it. She's studied it. She's made it work for her. Kate plays the long game, because she knows her future isn't just royal, it's regal.
I don't think Catherine needs to have a dig at Meghan. I think Catherine just has to be, and she actually took the trouble to get the honey from her hives in Norfolk and have the sandwiches made up and gave the sandwiches to the kids, because Catherine's all about nature and being and doing things outside. And Melania rather sweetly bought a pot of honey from the White House, which I don't suppose she'd gathered from any of the White House bees, but the gesture was there. And no, Meghan is just completely different. I think that Meghan just doesn't really get how to behave as a member or an ex-member of the royal family. Catherine seems to be at home in any kind of atmosphere, but especially when she's around children, and she is a joint president of these scouts, these little scouts. And I think it's really important to her. And I think she was, she acted like she was really flattered that Melania was interested enough to be there. I know it's all highly organized, but I think she gave the impression that Melania was very, flattered to be there with her and be doing something with children, which in this country, we don't see that side of Melania. And we just see the very formal side. And it was great to see both women in this situation. And it's something that would never have worked with Meghan, because she would have just insisted that all the limelight was on her rather than anyone else.
That's the unspoken message. Kate has become the monarchy's future. Meghan's left trying to build a brand and losing her grip on public sympathy while doing it. Royal duty demands sacrifice. Meghan wanted recognition, Kate wanted respect. One sought validation, the other earned admiration. When the world looks at Kate today, they see a woman of balance, compassion without chaos, ambition without arrogance. She represents a kind of strength that's timeless. Meghan, meanwhile, has become the embodiment of what happens when Hollywood ideals clash with royal expectations. Maybe Meghan thought she could rewrite the royal playbook, but as Ingrid Seward says, the crown doesn't bend to ego. It only rewards endurance. Kate Middleton's influence grows with every passing year. She's not chasing headlines, she's becoming history. Meghan may dominate social media for a moment, but Kate is building a legacy that will outlast the noise. As Seward concludes, Kate doesn't act royal, she lives royal. And that's the subtle but powerful difference that will define her place beside King William one day. Kate's grace proves that true class doesn't compete, it just shines. Meghan's still learning that lesson, but the public has already chosen their princess. What do you think? Can Meghan ever reclaim her public image? Or has Kate already won the world's heart?